Well, hey, everybody. When you're working with credit spreads, one of the things I run into very often is people not having a good understanding about the money that goes along with credit spreads. That includes what is the money when I'm getting in, what is the money as the trade is in progress, and what is the money at the end. How do I need to buy it back? How do I close these trades, right? I want to cover all those things in this video, so let's get into it. We're on the 9th of August at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to look for the next day's expiration, looking for the 30 delta. So we've got what, 526 here. This is what the peak bot, if you had the alerts, would give you these numbers, but I'm looking at let you know how we find them. We did this the other day on our call. 526 and 535. Okay. So then I'm changing this to vertical. 526, we can enter there. Bling. Hopefully, there we go. 535. We can enter there. I think that's 535. Yes, it is. It is. Okay. And I could just enter one side. That way we don't have as much to get confused about. But let's go ahead with what we got. Okay, so now the money of, I'm going to the monitor screen. The money of this trade is, we're on SPY. We've got, come on, drop down. We've got put credit spread and we've got a call credit spread. Okay, I put it on movement, but okay, now it'll move. Okay, so there's a put credit spread and a call credit spread. Remember that I'll annotate again. The trade price is what you received when you entered the trade. Is what you received when you entered the trade. That's your trade price, right? And you're looking for the difference between these two. The difference between 1.63 and 1.4 is 0.23 or $23. And for the call side, the difference between these two is what 28, I think we said. We saw that. This is 0.28, I believe. 28 plus there, 8, 10. Yep. Okay. 0.28. Okay, this is how much money we took in. For the put credit spread, we took in $23. For the call credit spread, we took in $28. Mark is the current value at whatever time you're looking at it. It's the current value. Like, what is that spread worth right now? Notice these numbers are changing. All the numbers over in here are changing, but these numbers over here are not, because that's you already received that money and there's no difference there as to what's going on. You're not these aren't changing, but this money over here is changing, right? I can even move us, let's put us on let's make us go a little faster in time so that way you can see the changes happening. At any point in this process, if you got a question, please stop me. All right, if I say something and you want to answer a question right there, go ahead and stop me right there. So I'm going to turn on my camera. I didn't know my camera was off. Okay. Current value is happening under mark. That's what's happening at mark, current value. You can look here overall, now because you got 4 things going, this P&L percent is going to tell you what percentage is going on with the overall trade. Looks here that you're down 2.94%. That's what the negative, or down 1.96. You're down. P&L open. This is the money, right? You are down $1.50. Well, now you're up $2. Parentheses means you're down. No parentheses means you're in the green, right? This negative parentheses. Y'all see this negative here? There's a negative on this number, negative parentheses. When there's no negative, like even here, there's no negative, there's a positive here, which means there's no parentheses here. right? Negative means you're down. The positive means you're up, as far as, that part goes. Okay. So time is passing, and we're seeing what's going on with this trade. Like, where are we in our trade? Okay. At any point, you can stop and see, of course, not stop and see, but you can see what's going on with the trade. So now if we want to see what is the current value of this put credit spread, I received $23, but if I subtract these two here, now they're about $25. It's jumping around because the price is still moving, but it's at $24, $25. So that's why it says that you will be down a couple dollars. The difference between these two is also going to tell you the amount of what your money's looking like. But I took in 23, it's worth 25. I'm down $2. I'm down $2. This one here, I took in 28. Current price here looks like it's about what's that? 28. It's moving, so I have to 27, 28. So it's about break even. This one's about break even. That's because we're close to, we just entered it, 10 minutes ago. That's why we've got that. All right. I'm going to go. And how am I finding these numbers so fast? I'm taking the difference between these two numbers to see what is the price. Okay. So let's move us to the end of the day. We'll move us to 15, which is 3:15 in the afternoon. We'll move to that time of day just so you can see what's happening in the trade. And then we'll look at the next day to see how do we, decide what we're going to do to exit, because we don't want to exit these. We don't want to exit these on the day that we enter. They are 1 DTE trades, which means we leave them right where they are. Okay. So the next morning, this is 3:00 in the afternoon. This is not the next morning. The same afternoon at 3:15. Of course, we're in power hour. We know what that means. Price is probably going in one direction. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause the price so we can see, so we can do some calculations without the price dancing around. Okay, I'm pausing our price. The difference between these two, 49.5, 62.5. What's the difference there? And if we need calculators, use them. There's calculators you can use. You don't have to do it in your head like I do. And sometimes I pull out my calculator, especially in the one when I'm doing them atom numbers. We're going between the 53s and the 52s. Make sure you don't get it messed up. Okay, so the difference between these two numbers. 13, yes, is it 13? 62, 49 is 13. Okay, so now this is worth $13. Worth $13. Now we can tell by these numbers that we will be up $10. But if we also could go over to P&L open, the difference between these two numbers, one of them is negative, one is positive. 100.5 minus 90.5 is again $10. Right? Same thing. 23 minus 13 means we're in the positive $10. You can look at two places, but it's the difference between the spread, right? Goes together. And let's look at the call credit spread. 98 and 135. What's this? 30, 37. The difference here is 37. Well, we took in 28. Now it's worth 37. Are we up or down? Are we in profit or are we at loss?
Profit.
We took in 28, but it's worth 37. Are we at profit or loss?
Profit.
Okay, we took in 28, but now it's worth 37. If we bought it back right now, we would buy it back for 37, but we only received 28 for the trade.
Oh.
Okay, so we'd be at a loss. We'd be at a loss. We're down between these two prices. We're at negative $9. right? We're down $9. We can also see that over here. We got a negative 25.40, negative 24.50, sorry, negative 24.50 plus 15.50, right? That equals a negative $9. We're down $9 in this trade right now. This is the afternoon. We're 3:15. We're down $9. Okay, who's got a question about that? We received 28, but if we exited right now, we'd have to pay 37. So if we received 28, so plus 28, but if we bought back, we'd have to subtract 37. That means we'd be out of $9. Everybody see that? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's keep going. So this was all, this is the afternoon of the first day. Right? It's the afternoon of the first day. So now let's move to the next day. Move ourselves to what would be Monday. And we're going to move ourselves to 9:35. We'll go at 9:35, right after the market opens. Is time moving? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, you all look at this and tell me where our prices are. What's the value of this top trade? What's the value here? The value of this trade? Yep, 0.04. All righty, so that's worth 4 cents. So if we're gonna close it right now, we're gonna pay how much? Come on, y'all gotta answer. If we exit the put credit spread right now, how much are we gonna pay? We're gonna pay $4. So now, if we pay $4 for this trade, what's gonna be our profit? We're gonna buy for $4, 0.04, which is gonna give us $19 in profits. How did we get 19 out of that? Well, $23 is what they gave us. We're going to buy it back. They gave us $23. We're going to buy it back for $4. The difference between those two is $19. All right. Now, how do we do that? How do we do that? We grab both of these. Now, this close order is put in place. If you're doing it yourself, you need to put it in place to say, in the morning, I usually do it before the market opens. I put both of these close orders on. But I say, okay, for these two here, I highlight them both. I picked one. Then I use the control key and pick the other. They both turn blue. And then I right click on the mouse, create closing order. I'm going to buy the vertical. And it says you're going to buy it for $4. It gives you that there. So you select it. Let me go ahead and empty all this stuff off from in the front of our screen. Okay, you're buying it back for $4. in the price box. And when you're ready to do that, you can confirm and send. Now let's look here though. What is the value of the call credit spread right now? What is the value of the call credit spread? Okay, here we received $28. What's it worth right now though? I think I see 43.50. 43.50. Is it 43.50? Yep, it is, because that's a 9 and a 6. Okay. It's worth 43.50. Are we in profit or are we in loss? Well, hey, if you're finding that credit spreads are something that you really like, but you want to know more about them, I have created a credit spreads masterclass that includes everything from what are credit spreads, how do we enter them, how do we find them, how do we find the stocks, how do we find the strikes, how do we close them, how do we defend. Basically, everything is in there. It's a masterclass you can get as a training at our website, educatortotrader.com. The link should be down in the comments. Go over there and grab your immediate access. We're in loss. By how much? Yep, we're down about $15.50. That negative means we're down. We can also see that over here where it says P&L open. Negative $18.50 plus $3. Negative $18.50 because that parentheses means negative. Negative $18.50. Now we're using the difference between these two, minus $3. Actually, we're going to say plus because minus a positive $3, which gives us, we're down $15.50. All righty. If we wanted to close it right now, we would buy it back for the 43.50. You can buy it back for the 43.50. Of course, this is where you maybe start looking at what is the chart showing? Is it going to keep drawing down? What is the plan? What are we doing? And let's see. Because depending on, this was Monday, I'm going to take us to 11:30. See what happens at 11:30. What kind of prices are we at 11:30 in the morning? Because what I do, even though I put the order in, and I'll show you this, I select both of these and I put in my close order, the close for the to close, but I of course put 0.5 in here. This is what, okay, so I went through the close order steps as I would the other side, but now I put in 0.05 in this box because I'd like to close it for $5, not for $44. So I put this in here and confirm and send. The way I continue through the day is I leave this monitor tab going, which is where we are under working orders. Under working orders, it shows here, remember the, there we go. The mark is the current value. This is what it's currently worth, is the mark. That's an E looking weird. It's currently worth $24. I want to pay $5. This is what I want to pay. It's $5, but it's currently worth $24. Is that where we are? Yeah. It says it's worth $24 at 11 o'clock, because now we went to 11:30. It's worth $24. Well, I want to pay $5. So I just wait and see. You watching your chart periodically, checking to make sure the price isn't moving in against you, yada yada. This one here should have closed by now, but if you're here at 0.4, 0.04, and it's hovering at 0.05, and you were okay with 0.05, I right click in this box here, right click here, and I'll do a cancel replace order. Cancel replace. So I right click in the box where the trade is I want, cancel replace. Instead of $4, I change it to $5, which is what it would have been anyway, and then set it to close. Hopefully, you wanted to pick up, but remember, these are spreads. So when the spread is going, you basically got stuff moving around, and at some point it needs to lock. Like what I want is here, what's happening is here, and at some point they need to lock in to where they can click, right? It doesn't happen immediately because you're talking about two different options contract. One is buying, one is selling, and it's moving, and it needs to kind of dun 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 dun. Sometimes it'll dance around. Jamie will say it'll be doing the moonwalk. It'll dance around, and finally it'll slow down enough to click, and then it'll feel, right? So sometimes the feel takes a little bit of time, takes some minutes, okay? Sometimes I'll cancel, replace just to make it go a little faster. It don't make it go no faster, but I feel like it makes it go faster. It don't necessarily make it go any faster, it just feels like it. Okay, so did we come up with what it was worth at the time? We did talk about that. Okay, that one matched up. So, okay, now we're pausing again so we can see what is this trade currently worth. We see here it's worth $24, and that's one way to do it without having to continue to do the math, is you can just set it. You can just go ahead, oh, where's my thing? You can just go ahead and put it on close. That way you can see what the value of it is throughout as time is moving. You can see it. But of course, you can always do this math through the day. And you should be able to see right here with this math what's going on. Okay, so now this is the question I have for you. Are we in profit or are we in loss? Are we currently in profit or are we in a loss? We can put our number back here. We took in 28. And it's currently worth, we can look up here, but we can also do this math here. It's currently worth 24. Are we in profit or loss? Carmen says $4 loss. Do y'all agree? Do y'all agree that we're at a loss of $4 or are we at a profit of $4?
It's a profit. It's a profit of $4.
It's a profit, right? Because they gave us $28, and if we buy it back, we're going to buy it back for 24. They gave us 28, and we would buy it back for 24, which is $4, which is a plus $4. This would be profit. Okay. As long as what it's worth is less than what you received, then you're in profit. When what it's worth is more than what you received, you're at a loss. Now, this is the difference between buying and selling, because when you're buying, you want the money to be going higher. But when you're selling, you want the money to be going lower. Okay? When you're selling, you want the value to be decreasing along the way. Okay? This is 11:30. Let's move ourselves forward. Let's say we're at 13:30. We're moving to 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, the other side of our trade has already closed. The other side of our trade has already closed. So we had $23 up here, right? And we closed it for $5. So we made $18 already on our trade. So we're already $18 profitable. We've already made $18 on the other side. Okay, looks like we're got a current price. Our trade is currently worth, of course, we can look up here. It's currently worth 28 again. So we're at break even. You can look at these numbers here, 58 and 58.50. The difference between those two is It's now we're 50 cents up. It's adjusting up here. You're free to close this whenever you want to. And if you close this right now, you're still going to be in profit because you still got $18 that you've made on this entire trade. We took in a total of $51. 23 plus 28 is $51. If we close it and we keep 18, we're still profitable at this point. We're still in profit. But of course, we want to get as much of our profits as possible if we can. But if the price action starts to work against us, we want to do it as best we can. We want to try to get to break even. Of course, if sometimes it just jumps so much in the pre-market that you don't have a choice. Okay, let's see where it's buffering. Seeing what it's worth at 230. Okay, 230 is worth $7. Are we in profit or are we in loss? And if whichever one, how much?
So $21 profit.
So we would subtract that 7. We got $21 of profit right now. Okay, current price, the mark value is $8. You look at between these two, it's also $8. Of course, it's moving around a bit because the price is still going. We're letting it do its thing. Now we can let it continue, and we should if we're close enough, $8, $9, you watching it or whatever, letting it draw itself down. Theta right now is definitely helping the process. Theta's helping our trade to be okay. Now, what I don't like, of course, is that's why I don't really watch it, is to see it just dance around. And sometimes I'll get to the place where I'm like, oh, forget it, and just I close it on my own. But then when it gets this close, you're like, why you can't be patient and just wait? Just wait, right? Just wait. Okay, I'm gonna move us forward. I'll move us forward 10 minutes. See if we get to where we want to go up here. And the difference between these two is $6. It's currently worth $6. And it's almost 3 o'clock. Hey, if you want to let it keep going and doing its thing, that's fine. You've probably got a good chance that it's going to get down to $5. 28 minus 5 means that we have $23 of profit. Right? So we had $18 of profit already. We're going to add $23 to that. Which now, when this trade closes, we're going to have $41 of profits from this trade. We received 51 when we entered. We paid 10 to get out. Okay, $41 of profit. This is a 41. We kept $41 by the time this trade closes. It's not closed yet, but it's going on to do its thing. Hopefully it'll close soon enough. At this point, you're just letting it do its thing. But you've also, by now, you've also entered for the next day, because at 12 o'clock, you would have entered your next day of trades, either that SPY or triple Q, whatever it is you're doing. If you're renting and repeating, you would have entered your next day by now. So this part is drawing down, but you also have taken in another $50-ish from doing your trade again. Tell me what questions you have. Carmen, what questions do you have? Karen, Carmen, Valerie, Jamie, Tanya? Do we have? I'm actually going to take us back to 12 o'clock because I want to put on a trade so we can see when it doesn't go well, because of course it's great when everything goes well. But then there are times it doesn't. There's times when it does. Oh, it looks like about 12 o'clock it was worth about 5. Maybe I think that was that, but maybe that's just when I was moving it. It was almost worth 5 before I moved it. I'm gonna clear all this off. Please don't be shy with asking the questions. I want to make sure that. Okay, Carmen says, after seeing the explanation with you walking us through it, I have no questions. Okay, cool. Coolly. Okay. I'm going to enter another one so we can see what happens when it goes nuts on you the next day. Because it does at times do that. Okay, I'm going to use triple Q just so we don't get confused by the different trades. Knowing that the mark for calls should be lower than the trade price was an eye opener. Yes, you need the mark column to be less than the trade price column. That lets you know you're in profit. Okay, let's go enter our trades. However, we're entering them would be 448. And why is that delta showing up like that? 448 and oh, there we go. I'm on the 12th, but I need to be looking on the 13th for exits. I was like, why is that looking so weird? Oh, wrong one. That's one of those AM ones. We want a 29 delta, so 449 and 458. 449 and 458. 449, enter, $23. 458, enter, $26. Go ahead and pick up. There we go. I'm going to pause it here so you can see exactly. You have a place where you can, a place to go and see where your money is. This is field. Right here, you can see that the triple Q, we had 26 and 23. So total, 26 and 23, total we took in $49. So if the value of this trade is anything less than $49, you're in profit. Okay? $49 is what we received for this iron condor. Let's move us back to the end of the day so that way we can see whatever happened with that first trade, which looks like it's going to close itself down. Again, I leave the working orders up here because I want to be able to see what it's, as it's drawing down, the mark is what it's currently worth. Price is what I want to pay up here in the working column. Now we've got a triple Q trade that we have. Difference between, remember, trade price is what we received, 23, 26. That's how we get to our total of $49. That's what we took in for this whole trade was $49. Then we can look at current value. This is the end of the day, the first day. So I honestly don't look a whole lot on the first day because I know I'm not going to close it. So I don't even, once I set a new trade, I don't really contend with it until the next day. But I want to show you what is the value of it at the end of that same day. Looks like this is what, $13. One side is almost drawn all the way down, but the other side is worth about 30. So even if you weren't worth 30, 31, you're not going to do this. But if you did, this trade is now worth what, 43. So it's already in profit. See, P&L open is about $5. You're not going to close it that same day though, because that would be unless you wanted to, that would be a day trade though. That's not the way the strategy is designed, but you could close it and be keep your $5 in profits if you wanted. Okay. I wouldn't. That's not the plan. The plan is not to use a day trade and only get $5. So I wouldn't. But you're the CEO of your own portfolio. The whole setup for this, the strategy here is that it would go 1 DTE. Looks like we still got this trade is still moving forward. I'm going to change it to 35 and see if, I think we all know that this one here is going to go ahead and close. It's close enough to the zone that it can go ahead and close. Even if you need to make your adjustments to it, you can to not let it go from green to red, which that happened to my EMPH trade. Yesterday it was green, and today the market ran, and my EMPH trade is now red. Okay, looks like it closed for $3 instead of $5. All right, I'm going to the next day, and I'm going to show what do we look like at 9 o'clock. 9:30. When the market opens, what do we look like when the market opens? This SPY is closed now. That was the previous day's trade. Okay, I want us to go to the next day. Thank you. It's bumpering, resetting itself. Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. Okay, so here we are. Let's look at what's the value here. Okay, we took in 23. We took in 26. The put credit spread, what is this worth? Current value. Current value of the put credit spread. Yep, it's worth $7. Righty? Current value of the call credit spread. Mm-hmm. 43.50, and it's been moving around, so about $40. Yep. So one side is in profit. 23, we have to buy it back for 7. That side's in profit, but the other side is not. All right. So now what we would do in the morning, again, I do this before the market opens. I select both of these sides. I do a create closing order by the vertical. And I set the vertical to be bought for $5. Confirm and send. Notice one side is going to go to nothing. It's the other, and generally the other side will too. Some days, though, the other side decides it's not ready. It doesn't want to join the party. Call credit spread side. I go here, create closing order. We're closing the vertical for $40. I'm not closing for $40. I'm going to put in here that I want to close it for $5. Confirm and send. Then you can go to the monitor tab and see that they're both working. The put credit spread is working. It's currently worth $9. I want to pay $5. The call credit spread is currently $41. I want to pay $5. Okay, I'm going to move us to 10 o'clock or 10:37. We'll go into 10:37. Time will pass and pass. Our put credit spread was able to close but our call credit spread is at 47. Now this morning, this was the 13th, which was Tuesday morning, and PPI was that day. So we're looking at something that we know of, right? So this happened the other day. Okay, don't do that. Okay, this is the other day. So let's say we're on the 15-minute chart and we're starting to see what's going on today. PPI data came in good. Price is starting to move. This is where our charting can sometimes help us to say, based on my charting, I see this is, maybe we're trending upwards. This may or may not turn back. I really try to give it till 11:30, 12 o'clock. I try to give it room. Then I said, I'm not going to step in front of the bot so many, because I've done that. And then the trade comes out fine, but I've already stepped in front of the bot by then and closed it myself. So I've tried to leave them, but anyway, this is what the chart's looking like at 10:30. Right? We've got moving averages showing that we're going up. The trend looks like it kind of wants to. It's at a pivot point. These dotted lines are pivots for me. So it's at a pivot point looking like it wants to keep going. But you're watching the chart to say, you know, what should I do here? Should I leave it? Do I think according to the charting, is it going to keep going? Should I exit now for less of a loss? What should I do? Since it's supposed to be hands-free, I try to leave it alone, but you know, that don't always work. Tanya was just saying, and we and her both were just talking about getting breached, fooling around with the 1 DTEs, but this we're learning along the way. Okay, so this is 11:39. It's still hovering in that place. I'm gonna go to the monitor tab so we can see that now it's worth $66. It was worth 49. It's 11:30. It's worth $66. We can decide here, do we want to close it ourselves or do we want to let it go? Of course, we know now it's after the fact, but we know now that this is not going to recover. We know that because we lived through Tuesday. It didn't recover, right? So, Tanya, we know that it stayed on life support, and it stayed on life support without us. Okay, so if we were going to close it, I want to show you what would we do if you decide on your own, I want to close this. Maybe you wait till after 1 o'clock, because I do try to wait till after 12 at least. Okay, so current value. Remember, we were just talking about the value. Where are you doing? Okay. We took in 26. It's currently worth up here about 66. We could, do our own math. Right? That's a 6. That's not really 66. It's more like 62, 60, 67. Either way, close enough. 67 is what it shows up here. I'm going to pause it so we can talk about, are we at a profit or a loss right now?
Loss.
We're at a loss of how much? $26 and 66. We're at a loss of $40. We're at a loss of $40. On the other side, we had made 23, right? And we paid 5 to get out. So over here, we've got $18 of profit that we already have for us. Right? We got $18 of profit. If we want to close right now with a loss of 40, if we subtract $40 from this, what's our overall loss going to be? We're down $22. If we close it right now, we'll be down $22 for the trade. And then, of course, at noon, we're going to enter again and take in more money. Okay, I want to show you, what do you do if you decide 26.66, I don't think it's coming back. You know, I don't know what we're doing, but it don't look like it's gonna be profitable for me. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my losses here at the top of the fish tank, you know. See, now we can see this, the price is moving on. And is this coming back? It don't look like it though. Right? Don't even have any dots up here. There's some here. Okay. It is probably not gonna come back. So we can say, okay, I don't know if and this is a personal decision that you have to make on your own of whether or not to cut bait. And it's not easy to do, right? Not easy. But okay, so you select this one, you select the other one. Okay, so this, I'm selecting them, but we don't really have to because we already have we already have the close order up here at the top. We set this close order when we first opened the day. Before the day opened, we set a close order for this side and it's not closing. So we really can just go up here and right click, cancel, replace. Cancel, replace. Let me try to get that stuff out of the way. We had $5, but we know it's worth 66 right now or 67 right now. Put 67 in there. We're going to pay $67 to close it. Then we confirm and send. Okay. So what we've done now is we had a trade where we received $49. They gave us $49 at the beginning of the trade. We paid $5 to get out of the put credit spread side. Then we paid $67. I think I put in 67 or 66. We paid $67 to get out of the other side. This was the put credit spread side. This was the call credit spread side. 49 minus 72. What we're at, minus $23. Right? 49 minus 72. Negative $23. So we had a $23 loss on that trade by closing early. We saw what the chart was doing, didn't determine that may or may not turn. Again, we know now after the fact that it didn't turn around, but you could also leave it for the day. Do I see a question here in the comments? Let's see. Oh, loss. Yep. Okay. I wanted to go to move us forward. Because even after the trade is closed, you can still see what would be the value of that trade later. Right? So if we were to look at the two of these, the difference between these two here, the difference between 369 and 273 is right at $100. That's like $94 because price didn't turn around. It kept going that whole day. We got out early, reduced our loss to $23 versus the $50. Right? But then even at 12 o'clock this day, we still would enter again. If you were doing the 1 DTEs, you just enter again and collect $50 more.